Is this too close?
I'm playing the great Katharine Hepburn.
Hello.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew? It'd be a
So
surprise.
great. Wayne,
Yeah.
did your parents talk to you about sex when you were growing up, or did you talk to them? Like, was there a conversation that happened?
I was actually talking about this with my mom the other day, but I feel like as a young person, I more or less did my own discovery. I think like sex education in schools is pretty,
Basic.
minimal,
Yeah.
especially in the 90s in like rural Nova Scotia. Like
Right.
no one really talked about any kind of diversity or any kind of like things other than missionary and this is how you make a child.
I mean, that's all you really need to know, so I don't really see what the problem is.
I feel like it was just like the scene from Mean Girls. It was like either child or venereal disease. That was it. So then the discoveries came later, but I feel like I asked a lot of invasive questions of my friends. Like I was like, do you get this? And they're like, I don't want to talk about that, man. And I'm like, oh, okay, so just me, cool. But then as I became an adult, I feel like my brother and my parents and I have a pretty open conversation because my mom gets worried about us, so she wants to know what's going on.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I feel like it's a pretty healthy, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you're the first person that we've talked to that's had...
I feel like I'm probably the only person in my friend group that is like not grossed out by my parents having sex.
That's amazing.
I'm like, great, 15 years in, like, keep at it.
I think we have to do another series where you teach us how to be cool with it, because I am so not. So that's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
What's your experience of seeing the spectrum of that on television?
I think the biggest thing that we've seen is like before it was a period of time where we had like cisgendered straight people playing a myriad of identities. Where now we're in a place it's slowly happening, but it's happening more frequently, is that we're having like people who identify as those identities actually getting to inhabit those roles.
Yeah.
And I think like that's a very exciting thing. Because I mean, like growing up, my mom's super progressive, and so for me, like as a young person and as an actor and as an artist, like it was very important for her to show me a diversity of lives, and like show like complex masculinity and show complex femininity, and present me with artists that are not restricted by gender roles, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I remember her showing me Tu Wong Fu with Love, Julie Newmar very early on. And like, the three leads of that are like cis men, but like who are very comfortable in their own sexuality, that they can inhabit, drag queens for that entirety and do it really authentically. She was constantly showing me work that challenged, I think, what our perceptions were in the 90s.
That's really interesting.
Like, I was watching Boys Don't Cry, and I was watching like where I was like, oh shit, like I didn't understand identity, but I did understand that like these people existed in hardship.
Right.
I think for me, like I was always encouraged to be whoever I wanted to be.
Amazing.
So it was, like the whole conversation of identity was never really like a conversation topic. It was always just like, what do you like?
Amazing.
What do you want to do? What do you want to play with? What do you want to watch? And then that was given to me. When I booked the part, obviously I called my mom and she was like, oh, well, like, what's it about? So I sent her the trailer and she was just like killing herself over the trailer. She was like, oh my God, the scene where the girl's like, well, I'm bi. And she's like, and then the parents are like, we're swinger. My mom thought that was the most hilarious thing. And she was like, that's the thing, like young people don't think that we have complicated sex lives. And I was like, okay, so this is like clearly geared to my mom's demographic right now.
Yes.
So I was like, she was, because I've been on a lot of things and like she was very excited about this one. It's interesting because I feel like obviously it speaks to the millennial experience and the baby boomer experience, but it was interesting to me because I didn't know how my mom was going to react to it, but she is super excited about it.
And that's really important for us too, having that representation, because that's another really underrepresented category.
Of course.
Still have a sex life.
Get it.
So great.